You should thank me for letting you go, Jean. You are keeping me from succeeding. Those were the last words my husband said before he walked out of our 11-year life. He wanted elevation. He wanted abundance. He thought I was the anchor dragging down his rising star. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I just looked at him and smirked. Because Colin was obsessed with timing, and he had no idea that his perfect exit was about to become the most expensive mistake of his life. If you've ever been underestimated by the person who is supposed to have your back, only to watch karma hit them with the force of a freight train, this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into the most mathematically perfect revenge I've ever witnessed. The architecture of a marriage. My name is Jean Whitmore. I'm 37, and for 15 years, I've worked as a senior project manager for a commercial construction firm. In my world, life is built on blueprints, contingency plans, and the quiet discipline of thinking 5 moves ahead. I don't need to be flashy. I make strong money, I keep my debt at 0, and I build things to last. My husband, Colin, was different. He worked in marketing for a lifestyle brand. He was all about the aesthetic. He handled the paint colors and the holiday tablescapes, the version of life you could photograph from the right angle to make people jealous. For 8 years of marriage, that balance worked. I was the foundation. He was the decor. But then, about 2 years ago, the alignment shifted. The elevation virus. It started with weekend retreats and personal branding workshops. Suddenly, Colin wasn't talking about our future. He was talking about scaling and refusing to plateau. He started staying out late, smelling like expensive gin and ambition. In public, he started calling me the stable one. At first, I thought it was a compliment, but in private, his tone curdled. Stable started to mean limited. Practical became code for lacking hunger. He began to treat our marriage like a starter home he had outgrown, a place that served its purpose, but was now beneath his vibration. Then came the perfume. I didn't ask. I waited. In my job, if you see a crack in the structural beam, you don't scream at the wood. AVs, you observe the stress point. The D in the dark. I saw the texts on a Friday night. His phone was face up on the counter while he showered. Notification after notification from someone saved only as D. I can't wait for our next chapter. She doesn't understand your light like I do. Soon, baby. Momentum is everything. When he stepped out of the shower, I didn't even raise my voice. I just showed him the screen. He didn't flinch. He sat at the kitchen table, loosened his robe, and looked at me with a terrifyingly calm pity. Jean, he said, I'm not even going to apologize. You play life too small. Dana understands that expansion requires shedding the things that hold you in place. You're comfortable being average. I'm not. He filed 3 days later. No counseling. No separation. He brought the papers home like a trophy. I want a clean break, he told me. Dragging this out creates emotional baggage that slows my trajectory. I have opportunities lined up. I need to move without friction. He wanted to move so fast that he didn't even try to take more than his fair share. He just wanted out. He signed everything. We sold the house in 2 weeks. He moved into a glass high-rise downtown and posted photos of the skyline with captions about reclaiming power. The $3 routine. The house closed on a Tuesday. The final divorce decree was set to be entered the next morning at 9 a.m. On Tuesday evening, I was driving back from the office, feeling the hollow ache of an empty house. I stopped for gas at my usual station. On autopilot, I reached into my wallet and bought a $3 lottery ticket. It wasn't a sign. It was just a habit, a tiny bit of noise in a life that had become too quiet. Wednesday morning, 9:12 a.m. The judge signed the papers. I was officially a single woman. Wednesday afternoon. The house proceeds were wired. We were legally, financially, and spiritually untethered. That night, Colin texted me, "Wishing you growth, Jean. I hope you find your own momentum." I didn't reply. I just opened my laptop to check the winning numbers from the night before. The mathematical miracle. I checked the first number. Match. The second. Match. By the time I reached the 5th number, my hands weren't shaking. They were ice cold. I checked 3 different websites. I watched the replay video of the draw. It was the jackpot. Tens of millions of dollars. And then, the project manager and me took over. I didn't call my mother. I didn't scream. I called a high-net-worth asset attorney. "When was the ticket purchased?" he asked. "Tuesday evening," I replied. "And when was the divorce decree entered?" "Wednesday morning at 9:12 a.m. "And the drawing?" "Wednesday night at 11 p.m. There was a long silence on the other end. "Jean," he said, "in this state, lottery winnings are property of the individual at the point of realization, the drawing. Since you were legally single when the numbers hit the airwaves, that money is entirely 100% yours. He has no claim. Not a cent." A week later, the news hit. An anonymous trust had claimed the jackpot from the gas station in our county. Colin, who knew my every routine, did the math. My phone rang 4 times before I picked up. "Jean," he said, his voice stripped of all that polished marketing charm. "Tell me you didn't win that." "Why does it matter, Colin?" I asked. "You wanted a clean break. You wanted to move without friction. Remember? We were still married when you bought that ticket," he snapped. The Zen master of abundance was gone. He sounded like a frantic gambler losing his last chip. That's marital property. We spent 11 years together. I deserve my share of that success. "No," I said, and for the first time, I let the smirk show in my voice. "You told me I was holding you back from success. You told me the timing of your exit was a gift to me. You rushed the filing. You insisted on the clean break by Wednesday morning." I took a breath, feeling the weight of 11 years of being average lift off my shoulders. "You were right about one thing, Colin. Timing is everything. You exited the marriage exactly 24 hours before the drawing. You wanted independence? Well, congratulations. You're officially independent from me, and from this money. Don't call me again." Colin tried to sue, of course. His lawyers tried to claim I had insider knowledge of a random draw. It was laughed out of court. He's still in that high-rise, but the skyline views look a lot different when you're drowning in legal fees and credit card debt. He wanted to be the main character of a reinvention story. He just didn't realize he was actually the cautionary tale. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't something you plan. It's just living your life with the steady discipline that people like Colin mistake for weakness. If you enjoyed this surgical bit of karma, make sure to smash that like button. Tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying one day too late story you've ever heard? Thanks for watching, and stay steady out there.